morning, good afternoon, good evening from everybody where you're joining us from. I want to welcome you to another Hot Summit 2011. My name is Taiwo Ogunwumi, and I'm president of Geohazard Risk Mapping Initiative. I'm here today to talk about the topic community mapping to improve preparedness in Nigeria. As we know, for the past couple of years, and even till recently 2020, there have been so many floods in Nigeria, which have impeded a lot of socio-economic and human activities. As you can see in this image, we see, the road being blocked. We also see internationally displaced people who are also being impacted by flood, which is a very critical issue, which is being caused by natural hazard. And when we say for preparedness, we're looking at some of the key elements. Preparedness will mean that there should be access to flood hazard map. There should be early warning communication of information. Also, there should be, provision made for relocation of people, to a very more safer zone in case flood occur. And that's what we all mean by the quote, flood preparedness. And this is what led to the funding of this initiative called Geohazard Mapping Initiative. What does initiative do specifically? They deploy volunteers to collaboratively, make use of GIS and remote sensing technology to identify community, infrastructure, at the same time, population that are susceptible to several types of hazards. But however, in this case, more specifically on flood. Why? Because flood, happen to be one of the natural hazards that occurs consistently in case of Nigeria and other West African countries. So what the initiative does is that we provide, flood suitability maps at the same time. Those maps, they are being shared with disaster response stakeholder at the same time with the community member. Those are the major key things that the initiative is all about. And when it comes to doing this, the power of youth volunteerism has become very essential. And that's the mode of operation that the Auto-SM2 is also putting in place, right? To ensure that we have youth who can volunteer to use the platform. So youth also in this case, they come together from different parts of the country. And the final product mostly is a paper map, that is a flood map, showing places that might be susceptible to flooding in the coming rainy season. And this map is being shared with the emergency institution. And in addition to this is another web platform that was created by the youth. And this specifically is an interactive web map that gives the community themselves an access to be able to assess their level of risk. You get to be able to know to what level am I susceptible to flood. You get where is my house and things like this. So the web platform make it very easy for us to be able to search. And while we are doing this, we realize that because we want to make it in a way whereby we can also be able to know, when we say places are at risk, how many buildings, which road will be impacted, what's the name of the area. And that's what made us to plug in the Auto-SM, or plug in into this particular web map so that we can be able to know where are the houses. And, unfortunately, we realized that we only have a few buildings in this particular area. Therefore, it becomes very essential to see how can we fill this gap, right? We can see the places are marked in red, showing that there is no building footprint. So we cannot know only if we will building footprint on the platform. So this is what led to the question that, why do we need digital building footprint at the first place? I mean, somebody will ask me this in today's event. And then, the answer is the fact that it makes us to know, firstly, if flood occur, how many buildings will be impacted, right? Will it affect residential zone? Will it affect manufacturing industry? And even if the flooding eventually occur also, it's making it possible to assess impact before the emergency situation can respond to flood. It's very good. They understand how many. This also contributes to building recovery, right? And not that alone, it also contributes to a sustainable city. If we have a record of building footprint, it makes us to be able to have a very good urban planning, which I'm going to still get there. So how do we bridge this gap? Then the Auto-SM Task Manager platform gives us access to what? To create projects that can make us to host map arting, which can also bring several people together, and we can be able to fill this gap since the unknown area, since volunteers come from several parts of the nation within Nigeria. At the same time, make it quite easy to host a map arting event. And we host over like 2 couple of map arting, which is specifically on mapping building and and major roads. Yeah, and because of the pandemic, right? We have to opt for virtual, and this is what makes us to also a virtual event that brings together over 55 mappers from 15 different countries And to make it excellent, they were able to map over 7,005 buildings, and roads within 2 hours, which is very, very good, and which try to fill the gap. And as you can see now, you see the previous map that is not showing building footprint now have buildings, you get, and which is very, very good to provide response and to be able to assess, the number of buildings. This also is very, very good for the insurance, for instance, for insurance to know if we are to insure particular buildings or area, to what level is this susceptible to flood. So these are one of the essentiality of having access to the AutoSM platform. And not that alone, the access to being able to collaborate with other people across the globe. This was possible through the COVID because many volunteers that came to the mapper team virtually make it more easy to have these large numbers of buildings. And as I was saying earlier, what's the potential of this building is the word. Now, it makes it more easy for community members to be able to search their house on our interactive web map. At the same time, too, emergency institutions can also be able to use those maps to know where can we create evacuation zone, right? If these buildings are flooded, if we want to move people in the case of flood, where do we move them to? Which houses are vulnerable? You see, these are very, very good in terms of planning. Also, don't forget that the building footprint that was being mapped is also very good for land use and physical planning departments within the country. And it will also help for disaster assessment. So you can see these are very, very good impact. And at the same time, whoever is using the Earth Tax Manager platform, contributing his own time and quota is indirectly, yes, contributing towards this SDG goal 11, which is what? Making city and urban settlement increasingly safe and resilient, which is very, very crucial at this point in time. So, and I will always say with my last statement that youth cannot fight the force of nature alone, but we can contribute, to mitigating this hazard by investing our time in using this geospatial platform like the Hotel Task Manager and the Openstreetmap, to map buildings and infrastructure, and these will also contribute to improving preparedness of several types of natural hazards. I'm glad to tell you that there's still more map patterns coming up to reduce flooding patterns in Nigeria. And at the same time, the initiative also plans to support more West African countries towards, flood preparedness coming year 2022. I want to say thank you for listening to me today, and thanks so much.